All right, this is episode 3, and I'm going to change the name to Home Biz Chronicles. Home Biz Chronicles. A little backstory. I've been in network marketing on and off since, I want to say, the early 90s, I want to say like 91. And how did I get recruited the first time? So I'm working in McDonald's, and so is my wife at the time, my kid's mom. Right? And she's in the drive-thru. And she says, hey, I think on a break or after work, she says, hey, these people gave me this cassette tape in the drive-thru. I'm like, what? It was a white cassette tape, and it said, something like, do you want to work from home, make more money, or something like that. And it was a prospecting cassette tape. This is the early 90s. This is before internet, before smartphones, before flip phones, before internet, no internet at that time. Like I was in 1991, 1990, I'm not sure exactly. So I listened to the cassette tape and I'm like, hey, that makes sense, That was how you prospected. That was one way you prospected. It was all face-to-face, basically. I mean, I guess you could run newspaper ads or billboards or leave drop cards, but a lot of network marketing back then was face-to-face. And that was Amway, which is still around. Amway is still around today. I think they're the number 1 or number 2 in volume. Like they do like $8-9 billion a year, mostly overseas, I think, but good company, So that was 90, 91, 92, and then off and on in the year 2000. And in the 90s, I never made any money in network marketing. Never made any money at all. I was kind of shy, not about as far as prospecting people. You know what I used to do, actually? I used to get all dressed up. So this is another old school tactic, which you could still do. I mean, there's not as many malls as there used to be, but I would get up like in a dress shirt, slacks, and have a couple cassette tapes in my pockets. And the idea was to walk around the mall and get into conversations with people so you could prospect them, so you could give them a cassette tape. And then if you give them a cassette tape, you need to get their information to get it back, because those things cost like $5 a piece, even back then. So you had to ask for their phone number, their name and phone number, right? So it was a thing, right? But I would walk around the mall and I would never talk to anybody. I did it more than once. I did that. I don't even want to know how many times. 3, 4, 5 times. And I'd walk around the mall and I wouldn't talk to one person. I would be too scared. So that sucked. So I never made any money. And then, I shared it with a few people, the Amway thing, but didn't get any bites. Let's see. So then, in the year 2000, I got a job as a mailman at the post office, Anaheim, California. So at that time, I kind of just concentrated on working for a few years. When I first got started with the post office, I thought I was a thousandaire. I got a raise because before that job, I was making $9 an hour. $9 an hour in a small little it's called nuts and bolts fastener business. And so $9 an hour times, and no overtime, times 40 hours a week is grossing $360 a week. That's not a lot of money with 2 kids, wife and 2 kids. And my wife was not working. So I had to file bankruptcy. But that's a side note. But I always had it in my blood, I think once you get exposed to network marketing and residual income and leverage and having a team, you really can never unlearn that. You can never unsee that. Even if you're not in the business doing any kind of company. So I got back into it a few times in the 2000s, didn't make any money again. So right there, I could have been one of these people that say, it's a scam. They just take your money. It's a pyramid scheme. Most people say that stuff because they never had success and they have to justify it in their own mind. Like, why did I fail? Not because of me, not because I didn't do the work, not because I didn't, improve my mindset and get consistent and be disciplined. No, that's not it. It's because you're scams. That's why most people say that, either consciously or subconsciously. So let's see, in the 2000s, made no money. And then I want to say I didn't make money in network marketing until I made a little bit of money in 2010. A little bit of money in a company called Legal Shield. And that was that was the second time I joined it. I joined in 07. Oh, so backstory, I joined in 07, got so pumped up because they had really good meetings, That's when that's when you went to meetings, like in person. Proud Bird in LA by the LAX airport. Go to these meetings, get all hyped up, and then it was called prepaid legal back then. They had their convention coming up in Oklahoma. And they're like, "Oh, you got to go there. You got to go." And then my upline really was on me to go. And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I should be able to go." But I couldn't get time out from work. So what did I do? I quit the post office. That was a big mistake. Huge mistake. That was probably the end of my marriage. It took another 5 years to actually end it. But that was the beginning of the end right there. When I quit, I came home and told my wife, I quit the post office. Without talking about it with her either. Nah, don't do that. So I went to the convention, came back, did nothing, made no money, had to go crawling back to the post office. Luckily got hired, but I went from making $23 an hour with benefits to making $15 an hour with no benefits. Same job. Exact same job. That sucked. And then did that for 3 more years. And then in 2010, what did I do? I joined Legal Shield again. Quit the post office again. Did nothing again. In 2010, I made a little bit of money because I sponsored one good person, and he sponsored a bunch of people. But it didn't last. So I'm like the poster child for the person that should be totally against network marketing because I did it for 20 years. Who knows how many companies I joined in those 20 years. Melaleuca a couple times, good company, still around. Legal Shield a couple times, still around. Amway a couple times. I actually rejoined Amway a second time too. But I stuck around, and then I finally was in the right place at the right time. That timing does help a lot sometimes. It can help. You can't depend on it 100%, but because timing doesn't last. Timing means you're in a new thing, like a new product came out with no competition, nobody knows about it, new company or new product. And I hit one in 2013. It was the body wraps with It Works. And that was hot at that moment. It wasn't new. It wasn't a new company. It was kind of a new product for them, and they kind of changed their marketing to lead with the body wraps. And I hit that with a business partner, and we killed it because it was new, So 2013, first time I made money. Actually, was making a full-time income there. I think I was having like on average $4,000 a month. That's not bad. And then our partnership with that person dissolved, and then I felt like it wasn't a good fit for me, so I saw Lavelle, the 3 Steps, the Thrive Experience in 2014 August. In the summer I saw it, and I joined that, but I was still in It Works. I got kicked out of It Works because I was in another company, and then I was in Lavelle, and that thing blew up, took off. I sponsored in the first and I did all my sponsoring literally in the first, I'll say 6 months. Sponsored 7 or 8 really good people, all better than me, all with more contacts than me, and they blew it up, so I blew up. I won't take a lot of credit for that. I'll take credit for having the courage to leave a check and go do something else, which I thought was a better fit for me, and it was, and it worked for a while. But I'm out of time here, but the moral of the story is if you don't have the proper mindset and the proper discipline and consistency and work ethic, and you work in a system, timing won't last, luck won't last. You have to develop your mind, become a leader, and teach other people to do the same thing. And that's how you make money in network marketing.